Alright, so perhaps you've already heard, but modern Israel has been ramping up its efforts around the world to increase its steadily declining approval rating. Just in case you haven't seen it, here's a video of Netanyahu himself talking to a bunch of Christian influencers about how to increase allegiance from Christians in America for the modern state of Israel.
Evangelicals are the reason that Israel has been supported in public sphere outside of just Jews. I guess I'm curious about what's another game plan if we lose evangelical support for the state of Israel. What's our backup plan to be strong, like outside the diaspora?
Talked about the woke right, and he said, I call it the woke Reich, because these people, they're not any different from the woke left. I mean, they're insane. We have to fight back. How do we fight back? Our influences. And secondly, we're going to have to use the tools of battle. The weapons change over time. And the most important purchase that is going on right now is
followers.
TikTok. Number one.
Not sure if you caught that, but he was saying any American who doesn't support the modern state of Israel is essentially a Nazi. And I'm not sure how anyone in that room walked away feeling respected after he talked to them like that, but hey. To each their own. Anyway, there was a recent FARA filing. FARA, I'm not sure how to say that. A FARA filing was filed on September 27th of 2025 by an American organization that just so happened to recently establish itself called Show Faith by Works. They filed this report with FARA a couple weeks ago, and in it they detail out exactly what their intentions are and how they're going to go about achieving their goals. Their explicit aim says that they are going to encourage Christians to have a more favorable view of the nation of modern Israel. The polls are showing a very steep decline in Christian support for the modern state because of their genocide. And their other hope is to get more Christians to visit the modern state of Israel. It's kind of like they think that if we all just go there, our minds will change. All the images we've seen of burnt and dismembered children, that will just totally leave our mind because modern Israel is just so beautiful. And we know that all of these efforts that I'm going to go over in just a moment are funded and fueled and organized by the government itself in modern Israel because they registered with FARA. The only reason one ever needs to register with FARA is because they're doing work on behalf of a foreign government. And the documentation itself says that the people in America who are going to be doing their bidding are doing it on behalf of the Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Something to remember, because it's a foreign government behind this, their aims has nothing to do with the Bible or faith. What would be the point of churches and Christian colleges allowing a foreign entity to come onto their premises and to propagandize their people? And what they're trying to propagandize their people on is things that go against biblical principles. But all right, I'm going to go through this and I'm just going to go over the parts that I think are important to go over. I trust that if you are interested in looking more into this, that you'll go to the FARA website yourself. And if you go to the filing, if you go all the way down, almost to the end, kind of in the middle, it's 86 pages, but if you go, it gives an extensive list of churches' names and how many people are regularly attending their churches that they're intending to target. So you can go on there yourself and see, is your local church being targeted? Is a church that you know or nearby you going to be targeted? And to perhaps reach out, pre-warn, get people prepared for what's coming down the pipeline. Anyway, here we go. Here's the rundown. So first, the government in modern Israel, through this Show Faith by Works organization, is looking to ramp up targeting of mega churches in California, Arizona, Nevada, and Colorado. This is only phase one, though. In their documentation, they say they have their eyes on other states like Utah and Texas. And who knows what intentions they might have behind the scenes beyond that. They're going to send every single megachurch in these regions, in these states, pastoral resource packages. Something it says they're set to spend a minimum of $350,000 on. These packets are going to contain pro-Israel information and educational materials, and the expectation is for these pastors to share this information with their congregations. One of the main ways it seems that they're going to do that is distribute it using videos that this Show Faith by Works organization is planning to create or are already in the process of creating. It says that They would hope that they would share these videos during church services. It sounds like they're going to be making videos specifically for youth pastors to play to the children that they oversee. They plan to create messages specific for Black churches, as well as using an Anglican Hispanic pastor, whoever that is, to target Catholic churches. And they're also going to be creating Spanish content as well to get that sector of the American Christian population. And something I find most creepy, they're planning to geofence the boundaries of every single mega church in California, Arizona, Nevada, and Colorado, and all Christian colleges during worship times, it says. And so their goal is to distribute pro-Israel information and messages, as well as anti-Palestinian messages in both English and Spanish. And their explicit stated goal is to do the largest geofencing and targeted Christian digital campaign
ever.
It's like, okay, real ambitious. So the plan is to geofence every single event that they do, every church and Christian college in these states, and then, weird, they're wanting to track the attendees in those locations. So anyone who enters these geofenced areas, they plan to track them and to continue to target them with ads thereafter.
Geofencing is where, and this is something that kind of like all sorts of tech companies can do, where you basically just tell your computer software to look for the pings of people's cell phones that are within a certain area on the map. And then this software accesses the public cell phone data that, most of us don't know even exists. And then they just find every cell phone pinging within that region, and then they lock onto their IP addresses and they start to track those phones, and then they can actually target you with ads. They can track your movement. This was dug up by kind of a cohort of mostly women on X that are digging really well. And Gen X Girl wrote a really great report. I think her handle is literally at Gen X Girl. So it's not my original reporting, but I picked it up because I have a much bigger platform than them. So hopefully to amplify their voices.
Okay, so let me just play this and you can explain it when we come back.
Targeted geofencing. Right there. Description. Largest geofencing and targeted Christian digital campaign ever. Geofence the actual boundaries of every major church in California, Arizona, Nevada, and Colorado, and all Christian
Actually, Jimmy, why don't you
colleges
pause it for just a second?
Just so that people have a little bit of context as they're listening to this. What I'm reading is from a FARA registration filing. So that's a foreign agent's registration, right? As in, this is what we all say that AIPAC should be registered to have to file like this every time they lobby the US government and our senators and everything. This is a FARA filing, and because what FARA does is it forces people to disclose where the money's coming from, where it's going to, what's happening. And this filing was found just recently. It's a brand new filing from 9/27/2025 about this targeted campaign against Christians by an Israeli organization trying to spread Israeli propaganda in America. And these are all just openly in the filing for everyone to read.
That they're spending millions of dollars to do what they call geofencing.
Yeah.
And geofencing, well, let me play the rest of this.
During worship times, track attendees and continue to target with ads. So, what that means is that Israel, the state of Israel, on this FARA registration is disclosing that a foreign state is paying for an influence campaign that will actively locate your cell phone if you go to church in any of California, Arizona, Nevada, and Colorado. They will target and track your phone at church. And then when you leave church, they will continue to track you and send you customized Israel ads using Israeli money to back that campaign. That's why we have FARA, is so that they have to disclose shit like this.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so there.
And also, to be clear, that is just the tip of the iceberg of what is in that FARA filing.
Oh, really?
That is only one small piece of a whole bunch of very, kind of shocking things that are just written right there. A lot of us kind of know that's happening, but it's different to read it objectively, registered as the state of Israel is paying for this.
So So what they're doing is when Christians go to church in America, every church, is it every church in California and those other states you mentioned?
I don't know if it's literally every church, but they have a whole list of all the churches, like name of every single one, and it is many, many pages long. And it is certainly the majority, and they're specifically targeting evangelicals. And it is, California, Colorado, Nevada, Arizona, I believe is four.
And what is geofencing?
Geofencing is where, and this is something that kind of like all sorts of tech companies can do, where you basically just tell your computer software to look for the pings of people's cell phones that are within a certain area on the map. And then this software accesses the public cell phone data that, most of us don't know even exists. And then they just find every cell phone pinging within that region, and then they lock onto their IP addresses and they start to track those phones, and then they can actually target you with ads. They can track your movement. There's actually a surprising amount that people can just spy on you if they just know which phone is yours and just target and track it.
And Israel's doing that to Christians.
Yes, and it is actually on the FARA filing. I forget the name. It's like the Israeli... it's not the Israeli Defense Ministry, but it's an Israeli government agency, is the the petitioner, so to speak, the registrant, and it's being funneled through kind of a middleman company that is actually enacting the whole thing. And then they're also paying for a October 7th exhibit that they're going to drive around in these trucks to different churches, Christian churches, where Christians can go into the truck and put on a VR headset and relive October 7th from the perspective of the Israelis, just minus the Hellfire missiles coming down on you from the Israeli helicopters. But it's just like there's a whole bunch in there. It's super wild. So it's kind of unbelievable.
I mean, and what do you think? How do you think the Christians going to these churches would react if they knew they were being geofenced by Israel?
You know what's really sad, Jimmy, is I suspect a lot of them would be like, what's wrong with that? What's the problem with that? Israel's my greatest friend. I love Israel. Because, unfortunately, American Christians are super propagandized already. Mm-hmm. But fortunately, a lot of them are awake, and a lot of them know what's going on, and a lot of them are at least, awake enough to realize that that's super messed up and very startling. And I've gotten a bunch of private messages, a bunch of comments of people saying like, oh my God, my church is on that list. This is crazy. And I think and that's why I tried to bring more attention to it, because Gen X Girl is an amazing researcher, but her account isn't super big and it's only on X. And so I wanted to spread this as far and wide as I can, because I think that most people just do not know how seriously Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli government take the propaganda war. It is their highest priority. It's a higher priority for them, I think, than their actual kinetic war, is winning the hearts and minds of Americans.
So because they know they've lost them, and so this is their full out 100%. They're buying TikTok. They're buying 1/6 of the media, including CBS and Comedy Central and CNN. The Zionists have bought that. So it's getting harder and harder to make it stick. To call it an anti-Semitic trope when people say the Jews run the media. They're really making it hard for that anti-Semitism accusation to stick, because now they explicitly, Zionists own TikTok, 1/6 of all of U.S. media, including CNN, CBS News, Comedy Central, and many other, Warner Brothers, everything to do with Warner. It's unbelievable how much that they own. It's getting really hard, and so that's all they have left is the propaganda and the narrative. Because if they've lost control of the narrative, they've lost, and so they have lost control of it. And so this is their last dish effort to propagandize Americans back into being pro-Israel.
I worry, Jimmy, that we're going to see a lot of really overt censoring of speech and of channels. I worry that we're going to see people getting banned. I worry that they, just like you say, it's their last ditch effort because they have no other option at this point. And I worry that they're going to just blitz our freedom of speech in America to try to shut it all down, which will backfire. That will not work. And if they think that buying TikTok...
2,000 years ago, the Jews told Jesus he had a devil. They told him this not once but twice. Yes, twice. It would be the equivalent of them calling you today anti-Semitic, you're racist, you're phobia, you're this, you're terrorist, that, you're this, you're that. It doesn't matter. Jesus said, if they hate me, they're going to hate you. Be honored and grateful they hate you. You wouldn't belong to Jesus if they loved you. I assure you, you would not belong to Jesus if they loved you. Let's read something. John chapter 10, verses 19 and 20. There was a division, therefore, again among the Jews for these sayings. And many of them said, he hath a devil and is mad. Why hear ye him? They just said, here's the Son of God, who sits at the right hand of God, who has all power. He's condemning these people because he's telling them what? The truth. Jesus Christ is telling them the truth. I know who you really are. I know what you really are. You're done. You're on borrowed time. What did they tell the Son of God, mind you? He has a devil. John 8, chapter 47 and 49. Jesus speaking to the Jews again. The words of Jesus. He that is of God heareth God's words. Ye therefore hear them not, because ye are not of God. Then answered the Jews and said unto him, say we not well, thou art a Samaritan, and hast a devil? Calling him a devil. He has a devil again. Jesus answered, I have not a devil, but I honor my Father, and ye do dishonor me. So there they are calling the Son of God. The most important thing to the Father Jehovah is Jesus. And here they are, the devil's children calling Jesus, you're the devil. You see how they do it. You see, everything they are, they will accuse you of. In these last days, I'm going to tell you again, Jesus is a well. He's called the living water. And you're going to need help, and you're going to need to be made strong. You're going to need all that you need for this last mile. I tell you again to put your bucket into the well of Jesus, and you will always draw out the living water of love and truth and help, comfort and peace and strength. All that you need. You go in prayer, you go in quiet, and you pray as long as you need to. If you got to pray for hours, do it. But you put your bucket in the well of Jesus, and you will always draw up water. You will always get help. Stay away from pigs and dogs. In the name of Jesus, I thank you for being here. May the Father bless you all. In the name of what? There's only one. He don't have 5 names or 10 names or 100 names. He doesn't have variations. His name is J-E-S-U-S. And it's pronounced and sounds and says, Jesus. I thank you for watching. Amen.